Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, November 21st, 2019. This is episode 397 of The Daily Dope. That's right. So welcome aboard. If this is your first time checking out the show, do want to point out it's very, very casual. It is certainly nowhere near being rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. Just mainly talk about tabletop games. And usually have some folks floating around and chat. Get a little conversation going as I share the latest news as well. As I mentioned, there is chat because this is live. So if you are watching live and you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, fire away. Chat is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to chat. So fire away, I will respond. And of course, if you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will notify you when I upload new videos, as well as tell you when this stream goes live within about a minute or so. So if you do have that little notification bell selected, you already know last night I uploaded, well, okay, so this doesn't look great, but I did do a first look at the Turn Zero for Twilight Struggle expansion with some promo cards as well. So we've got some rules, we've got additional cards. So we've got some optional cards, we've got Soviet and American cards here. We've got some rules, we've got an alternative space race. So took a quick peek at that. Also, I unboxed and took a first look at Stalingrad 42, which is also from my friends over at GMT Games. So cracked this puppy open, took a look. So sweet. So no video upload today, but tomorrow you will see, probably after the show, my review of Adventures in Middle-earth Erebor Adventures. I keep wanting to say Eberron. It's like, no, it's not Eberron, Jeff. It is Erebor. Anyway, I do want to mention my first look and page through of Eberron Rising from the Last War has settled in to the number 3 slot of most viewed video on the Gaming Gang channel. And you have to keep in mind, I launched this channel, gosh, I think we were doing the website for about a year and a half. So I think our first videos are from, I should say, well, Elliot did some videos, but I did most of the videos. I think 2012. So there are a lot of videos. There are, I think, what is it? I think 670 videos, almost 700, something like that. So let's see who's in chat. So we've got Flaming Huron, we got John Vogel, we got Dan from No Enemies Here. The Madman is arrived as well. So we've got chat off and running. There's some discussion about some bourbon. So Dan is enjoying 25-year-old scotch and watching me. Dude, why are you wasting good scotch on my show? Feel like it's kind of like, well, you know, I was gonna get the Louis the 13th cognac. Oh, man, that's like, just bust out the Hennessy and pour it in some orange juice if you're watching my show. Anyway, so good to have everybody aboard. Got a good amount of news tonight. A couple of Kickstarters. One we're going to talk a little bit about. So after I show the video and do the news, because I'm kind of up in the air. So we will find out. So let's jump on in. I'm not sure the Madman's talking about Larceny. It gets really good reviews and sits at about $26. Must be a bourbon of some sort. Anyway, all right. Well, not sure. So let's jump on into the news because Q1 of 2020 is going to see the release of a new game from Renegade Game Studios. Sounds like it could be interesting, and I've got the dope on Gloomy Graves. In Gloomy Graves, you work as a gravedigger in a dark fantasy world where epic battles rage continuously. The corpses of pixies, goblins, unicorns, cyclopses, and dragons have begun to pile up, so you've got your work cut out for you. Manage your private crypt and the communal graveyard, each with different placement rules. Keep the place organized as you bury corpses in different areas of the graveyard, or it's your own grave you'll be digging. You'll earn points based on how well organized you keep your private crypt and the communal graveyard, grouping corpse types together. You'll also earn points at the end of the game for the number of different corpse types you've scored during the game. And of course, most points wins. Gloomy Graves is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up. It'll play in 30 to 45 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $20 when it arrives early next year. This is all I've basically got. Only this image. But it does sound kind of unique. I don't have anything else. I'm taking a guess this is a card game based on the MSRP. So that would be my guess, is you're probably going to be using the cards on like a grid. You'll lay them out on it like a grid on the table, is how I'm taking a stab that this will play out. I don't know. I searched around for some other images, but this is the only one I could find. Sorry, but it does sound like it could be kind of a gravedigger. What is that new game that's kind of like Stardew Valley, the PC game? Is it called Graveyard Keeper? Something like that. It's a PC game where it's along the lines of, if you're not familiar with Stardew Valley, you're a little farmer and you inherit this farm. Personally, I think it's a blast. I think it's hysterical. I'll play for like an hour, and I actually got my mom into it. So, but yeah. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, it is Graveyard Keeper. I have not played it. I have heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people say it's pretty good, and then I've heard other people say it's very repetitive and doesn't have a lot of content. So I don't know. I have no idea. But we're not talking about PC games today. Oh, hey, by the way, if you missed the show yesterday, don't forget, today you can now go to the Epic Game Store and get Bad North, the Jotun edition, absolutely free. So I got my copy. I have not started playing it yet. I have not messed around with it. I'm going to start messing around a little bit with... Epic Games has a new kind of like... one of those games where you just kind of waste a little bit of time and you're collecting all these different characters, and it's kind of like an RPG fighting game or something. It's just come out, so I'm thinking of checking it out. So it looks kind of interesting. I do not play Fortnite or any... I don't play a lot of online stuff, because most of the time I find a lot of people I run across in the online gaming are kind of doofuses. Worse than that, actually. All right, so my second news piece is from Phalanx Games, because they're currently running a Kickstarter to bring a follow-up title to 1944 Race to the Rhine to the public. And I've got the dope on 1941 Race to Moscow. The line between disorder and order lies in logistics, is a very sound Sun Tzu quote that perfectly describes the importance of logistics in military operations. This sentence has been an inspiration for the 1944 Race to the Rhine board game that has shown the 44 Western Front campaign from a logistics perspective. The game, published in 2014 in 4 languages and sold in the thousands of units, had been nominated for Golden Geek Awards for Best War Game and received 3rd place in the War Game category of the Trick Track d'Or in 2015. 5 years later, we're proud to offer you a new game in the series. Not me personally offering this. This is Phalanx Games, focused on the 41 Eastern Front campaign. 1941 Race to Moscow brings the system to a completely new level with much deeper and more demanding gameplay, as the Eastern Front logistics were a nightmare of horse wagon, truck, and train composed supply columns. What is more, the powerful enemy armies are just across the border, getting ready to launch an onslaught with the world's strongest army to beat and a difficult logistical puzzle to solve. 1941 Race to Moscow is a dream come true for every wargamer. In 1941, Race to Moscow, which by some is considered to be a war-themed pickup and delivery, and by others a very simple but not simplistic approach to large-scale military logistics, the players take the roles of chiefs of staff or quartermasters of 3 massive army groups formed together from close to 200 divisions, which aim at the centers of the Soviet Union: Moscow, Leningrad, and Rostov. The campaign itself was planned to be swift and daring, with a goal to reach the objectives before winter. In reality, after the final push, Operation Typhoon, the invading troops reached the vicinity of Moscow and looked through the binoculars at the Kremlin spires on one frosty December morning. And then the Soviet counterattack started. So there is a short video. It's a couple minutes long. It's going to show you way more than I've got right now about 1941 Race to Moscow.
Logistics is the ball and chain of armored warfare. Heinz Guderian. The army has reached the outskirts of Moscow, but time is short. The tanks were replenished with the remaining supplies, but it wasn't enough to break the defenses. The army has marched hundreds of miles through the snow, mud, and barren ground, getting farther away from their supply bases. So the railway network was built to transport the supplies with endless lines of trains. But the enemy has blown the bridges and delayed the transports. So the trucks were used to move the munitions forward. But the front line is still too far, and other armies are approaching Moscow to grab the glory for their commanders. They won't win this race. The munitions will be taken an alternative route, bypassing the blocked tracks. Now the Luftwaffe's help will be crucial to overcome the defenses. But no matter what, they must attack now. This could be the only chance to win the race to Moscow. Plan and execute the largest military campaign in history. Back now at Kickstarter.
1941 Race to Moscow is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up. Plays in an hour or more. The project has just passed 100% of its funding goal. You can reserve a copy of the game plus any unlocked stretch goals for a $78 pledge through December 11th. Expected delivery is October of next year. So before I start talking about this, I do see that Kabuki Kid and the OG have arrived in chat. Good to see you both. We're talking about Dan being part of a marathon. So I'm wondering, Dan, are you going to be part of the Dice Tower Gaming Marathon that's coming up? I think it's this weekend, isn't it? Like Saturday, Sunday, something like that. So don't know. I'm just curious because Kabuki Kid's talking about looking forward to seeing you in the marathon, and that's the only gaming marathon that I can think of that I've encountered that's gonna be around. All right. Anyway, so what's kind of throwing me off about this game is this doesn't strike me really like a war game. So That's just sort of my impression here. Just from the video. Watching the video kind of leads me to believe that this is more kind of a puzzle game than anything else. Because it looks like each of the players, because you can play 1 to 4, although the Kickstarter says 1 to 3.5, so I don't know what a 0.5 player would be. So I say 1 to 4, but you're all controlling the Germans. No one is controlling the Soviets and their counteroffensive at all. It is everybody is actually playing as the Germans. So I don't know. I have no idea. So so Kabuki Kid says the Dice Tower Marathon starts Monday at 10 o'clock. So, didn't know. I knew it was coming up. I thought I saw a date on it somewhere. I gotta be honest. I mean, I don't follow what other people are really doing. I'm too busy doing my own thing. So, anyway, so Dan says that he doesn't believe I have time to play games. Can't believe that I have time to play games. There's weekends. There's nighttime. This show doesn't run for hours. It's only a few minutes every night. So anyway. Alrighty. So, so I wanted to share this Kickstarter because it looks like it could be interesting. But even if you look at the box art, the focus really is not that this is a war game. The focus seems to be that this is a logistical strategy game. So, I don't know. Kind of curious. I'll probably get a closer look at this at, it says October next year. I was going to say maybe Gen Con, but from Ares Games, because Ares tends to distribute a lot of Phalanx's games in the U.S. But I don't know. I have no idea. Moving right along, Portal Games is entering the final days of the Stronghold Undead Kickstarter. Here's the dope. Stronghold Undead is a standalone game that takes mechanisms known from Stronghold and uses them in a new and exciting way to tell a brand new story. In Stronghold Undead, resource management is of utmost strategic importance. Another logistics game, eh? And there is no greater resource than time. Each action taken by the Necromancer gives the defender more time to prepare. A powerful undead army poised to overwhelm any and all resistance requires a great expenditure of time and resources, which the besieged army in Pearl Keep can turn into stronger defenses. A weaker force, more rapidly deployed and less costly, may catch the fortress unprepared, or it may be stopped by defenses slightly stronger. I should say, stopped by defenses a slightly stronger force would have crushed. Blocking this line requires finesse and the ability to read your opponent. Portal Games does have a video for this Kickstarter. It is about 4 minutes long. It's a longer video here. So I will let you all kick back and give it a watch.
Hello, Portal Games. I'd like to introduce you to this amazing campaign for the Stronghold Undead, the new stunning edition that we want to create together with you to bring this old design back to life. The base game of Stronghold was released in 2009, many years ago. It got amazing feedback. It got nominated for the Golden Geek for the best two-player game. It was nominated for the Golden Geek for the best war game. It was nominated for the International Gamers Award for the best two-player game. So it was a great success for us. And the following year, in 2010, I released the expansion called Undead. It was expansion for the base game of the Stronghold. It was released in Essen in only one small print run of 1,000 copies. And then I moved on, I created Robinson Crusoe, I created Detective, Imperial Settlers, many other games, and everybody forgot about the Stronghold and Undead. And now with this Kickstarter campaign we want to bring this old design of mine in this new edition. This new edition of Stronghold Undead is a standalone game in which one player is playing a role as an invader, as an evil necromancer who brings the evil forces to crush the castle, and he will be casting spells and bringing to life vampires and phantoms and skeletons, and they will be marching towards the walls, and he will have at his disposal the Book of Magic, the evil Book of Magic with 24 unique spells, and by spells I mean unique actions, like creating a bone giant, creating some mist, doing the heavy rain on half the castle, and many other different effects. And with these 24 unique actions, these 24 unique spells and his forces, he will try to break defenders and break into the walls. On the other hand, the other player is playing defender. He has to defend the castle, and he will have at his disposal all his actions. He will have a forge where he can build the cannons. He will have scouts. They can send them out of the castle and build the traps. He can have barracks where he can train his soldiers and make them veterans and great soldiers. So he has a lot of different buildings inside the castle, and each of these buildings offers him 4 unique actions. So once again, altogether more than 20 unique actions to prepare defenses against the evil forces of necromancy. For this campaign, I revisited the Undead expansion after many years, and along with my developer Joanna Kijanka, we spent much time redeveloping the whole thing. So now it is called Stronghold Undead standalone game. It has new spells, it has new actions on the defender side, it has all these new small changes that we made, rebalancing the thing, creating new abilities and powers. And with the Kickstarter, we are able to even ask you for the support and ask you to help us create more content. So we have some ideas to make this even more rich in the content, even more rich with the new abilities and new powers. And this is it. This is a Kickstarter. This is you helping us bring the old expansion back to life. So I hope you will enjoy this campaign. I hope you will stay with us and check out the campaign every single day to see what happened, what's new, what we came up with, and share the passion, share our passion, share the word about the game, and help us bring this old amazing design back to life.
Stronghold Undead is for 2 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 90 minutes. This project is over 300% funded, and you can reserve a copy of the game and unlock stretch goals for a $65 pledge. There is a deluxe edition that's available for a $75 pledge. This is going to run through November 25th, so only a few days left to support this Kickstarter. Expected delivery is August of next year. So conversations going on about Tom Vassel's Dice Tower Marathon. Cool. I gotta ask. I know it's kind of funny. We're actually okay. All right. So here's the thing. I gotta point out. Tom looks at everybody like me, right, as competition. Always has. Always has. He'll tell me to my face. He's told me that umpteen times. Which I don't have a problem with. That's fine. I don't look at other people doing this stuff as competition. I'm just like, everybody's doing their thing, right? It's, it's all good. As long as they're not ripping off other people's reviews and stuff and pass them off as their own. Anyway, but I was going to laugh and say, geez, there's a lot of discussion about the competition in chat right now. Knock it off! Just joking. So, we've got Doug Roberts in chat. I believe this might be the first time Doug Roberts has joined us. If it's not, I apologize, but usually kind of recognize people's nicknames and stuff like that. So, anyway, so the Madman says, consider backing it, but 1 to 2 players kind of killed it for him. No doubt talking about Stronghold Undead. All right, so next news piece. Next summer is going to bring the Starship Operations Manual for Starfinder from Paizo Inc. I've got the dope. blast off into space with the Starship Operations Manual, Starfinder's latest rules expansion hardcover. Outfit your beloved starship with more than 100 new starship weapons, expansion bays, alternate armors, and systems like drop pods, ramming prows, mines, ablative armor, virtual intelligences, and more. If you're looking for a new ride, you'll find profiles of leading starship manufacturers as well as statistics for more than 40 new starships found throughout the galaxy. The Starship Operations Manual puts you at the controls, offering bold new ways to present starship combat. From dogfights in planetary atmospheres to daring chases through asteroid fields. Oh, wow. You sound kind of like this movie series I seem to recall. I think there's a new one coming around Christmas. To pitched battles between huge fleets. New rules allow crew members to even get more out of their skills and feats, unlocking thrilling critical success results that add excitement to starship combat. Take your adventures into the great unknown and beyond with the Starfinder Starship Operations Manual. This hardcover book should arrive, I'm taking a guess, on Gen Con's opening day, July 30th of next year. It's going to carry an MSRP of $39.99. So, interesting. Good to see Starfinder still getting support from Pathfinder. We still get the monthly adventure paths. I know it came out gangbusters and then kind of hit a hiccup because Paizo ran out of books. They sold out. It was like they had a huge print run, biggest print run of anything they ever did, and they sold out. I remember they sold out at Gen Con first day, and there were a lot of people who had single day passes who were not happy. So, but I like Starfinder. I think Starfinder is pretty cool. I think Paizo could have easily just said, "Yeah, we're just gonna port Pathfinder over into outer space, and that's it." No, not at all. It was kind of very little different system, almost like a Pathfinder 1.5, really. Speaking of Pathfinder and first edition Pathfinder, I should point out that there's a Humble Bundle that's going on right now. I think it launched yesterday. And it's Paizo Inc. and Dynamite Comics. $1 is going to get you pretty much all the core stuff you need to start playing first edition Pathfinder. I did double check. None of the PDFs that are on offer are for second edition. So, not that there's a ton out yet for second edition, but I was surprised that we didn't have anything. So, starting at $1, I mean, you can get the beginner box versus the PDF. It's not the actual physical box. And the core rulebook, you get the bestiary, you get some Dynamite Comics, and that's for $1. So you can go all the way up to $15 and score $276 worth of RPG PDFs for Pathfinder, as well as Dynamite Pathfinder Comics. So pretty cool. Pretty nice deal. And of course, the Humble Bundles always do benefit charity as well. All right, so I've got one last news piece. This kind of jumped out at me, and I'll tell you why. Because once I'm done sharing kind of the sell sheet info, if you follow the Gaming Gang, if you've watched videos, if you've watched this show, right away you're going to know why I was like, So, Ken Kennedy has a new solo adventure game. It's available in PDF. It's over on Drive-Thru RPG, and I've got the dope on The Drifter. The Drifter is a solitaire story dice game based in the fictional Wild West. You're a gunslinger who's been living a hazy existence. Your brief time in this world has been mostly spent on the outside of the law, killing, stealing, carousing with undesirables, living a dangerous life full of excess and violence, like Tom Bassel. Recently, you feel life might have more to offer. You know this way of life will not last, and now you're looking to maybe put your wild ways away Say that 3 times fast. Buy a ranch and settle into obscurity. You determined you need $300 and are willing to get it by any means you feel necessary. The Drifter is reminiscent of games like Barbarian Prince from 1980, where every game is a unique story experience every time you play. Will you fall victim to the endless dangers that lurk in the Wild West, or will you accumulate $300 and enjoy your remaining days in a serene retirement tending to your ranch, a la Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, right? Find out in The Drifter. The Drifter is 240 pages, and you can snag the PDF for $9.99 at Drive-Thru RPG. So, pretty cool, yes. So, Double K is, yes. Cue the Americane music. Yes, a little spaghetti western music as well. So, the thing that really jumped out to me is when they mention Barbarian Prince, which I was in 8th grade. Yeah, I think it was the summer between 8th grade and freshman year in high school. And I picked up Barbarian Prince and I played it all the time. And it was an excellent, excellent solitaire game. It was very, very cool. Basically, Barbarian Prince was that you can actually find this free. I should point this out. It should still be free for you to download because I can't remember the company's name, because it was a kind of smaller company and they made these little boxed games that they weren't exactly like Ziploc bag games, and they weren't exactly like big Avalon Hill games. They were just kind of little box that held. There was a miniature of the Barbarian Prince, which was not a very detailed miniature, but then again, back during that time, even Grenadier miniatures weren't all that great detail. But so you're supposed to be this prince who's been exiled from their kingdom by the evil usurper, and you have so much time to collect an army of so many soldiers and return to take the city back. And as the OG points out, the game was brutal. Yes, it was. I don't think I ever won that game, but it was almost, you would have almost like a create your own adventure flavor to it, because you had kind of a little hex crawl going on. And then you had the numbered hexes, and the booklet had the different stuff. So, yes, original Grognard points out it was the size of a VHS box. A bit thicker, not as long. Yes. Because it had to fit the book in there. And it wasn't like a huge book. It was a paper booklet, but it had quite a lot going on to it. You can still get it absolutely free. The company, forget who owns the rights to it now. But the company that owns the rights to that previous company, and I think they made like 8 games. I think I tried 2 of them. One was Barbarian Prince. Those are available as free downloads, PDFs. So this is something I might take a peek at. It's only $10. I like Westerns. I think Westerns are pretty cool. It's 240 pages. So I will see. I will definitely look into checking this out. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. Of course, I do want to mention next week is going to be a short week because of Thanksgiving. So I will be off on Thursday and Friday. That's where I get some time to play games, Dan. But I do want to mention there will be shows Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. No shows Thursday and Friday. So I will try to get Dan a little blurb video if he's doing No Enemies Here this weekend. Then again, he might be prepping for the big marathon of gaming. You know, okay, he's got to dry out before he goes and sits down and does the marathon of gaming. Are we gonna see him go through like the DTs on right in front of us on a live stream? I would hope not. I'm teasing you, Dan. All right, so anyway, so that is it for tonight's show. As I like to point out, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. because not only if you ring that little bell, the notifier bell, I guess they consider it, it will tell you when this stream goes live within a minute or so. And it'll also tell you when my new videos are uploaded, my standalone videos, such as my upcoming review. Should be up tomorrow night. Alrighty, so, and of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. And now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. So everybody who hung out in chat, thank you very much for keeping me company tonight. So I'm not just blathering on into the ether. But of course, if you do watch this after the fact on Memorex or however, I got a soft spot in my heart for you too. Much appreciated. So I will be back tomorrow. Everybody enjoy your Thursday night. Until I see you next, happy trails. Zoobity-bity-bity-boo-boo. Zoobity-bity-bity-boo. Zabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-bum. Zibbit. Whoa, hey. I didn't realize that you were still here. Well, if that's the case, then allow me to share the following information with you that I only have 20 seconds to do. So let's all take a deep breath. So, if you would like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, please click right here. If you want to check out the latest episode of The Daily Dope, click right here. And if you'd like to check out a randomly selected standalone video, by all means, click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and thanks for watching.